Donald Trump's latest move is going to either confirm that we are in a major asset bubble or crash the entire market. Today, I'm going to dive into why I think that this is going to send the entire market into a giant explosion, but that will lead to a major bubble. Will it last the whole 4 years that Donald Trump is in office and everything will be peaches and daisies until it isn't? Or will this very move prove to be detrimental for him and everyone involved? Let's dive in to some of the details here because, hey, I'm going to get a little controversial here. Look, I think that the way that Donald Trump is navigating the economy is the way to go, but I don't agree with having the lower interest rates. It is hard for me to come to that realization just yet or to that agreement just yet because I feel like we are still in a very inflationary environment. So when Trump is pushing for a temporary Fed governor to fill the open seat, this is encouraging him to, well, soon to be vacant central board. So this government would serve out the term for the seat remaining set to expire in January. And it would give Trump additional time to interview candidates to serve as the chair for Jerome Powell's tenure leading as the central bank ends in May of next year. So it would give somebody essentially a trial period. The thing about Donald Trump is, well, we know from the reality TV shows that you fired. He is a great businessman. I mean, there's no way to get around that. No matter which side of the aisle you're on, you have to understand that he built billion-dollar empires some way, shape, or form. Now you can say, all right, his dad did it, whatever. Either way, you have to have some sort of business savvy. And that's the thing about Trump is he's a great businessman, great at making these deals. And so at a certain point, when he wants something done like this, have lower interest rates, he's going to make sure that that gets done. No way around that. So because he thinks, he's going to get somebody in there that will lower interest rates, will that be a positive for the market? Now let's keep diving in to what could potentially happen here. A short-term governor is likely to be somebody who is already in the government, who has previously been confirmed by the Senate for a federal job. The nominee will need to be clear Senate confirmation, a vetting process taken months, but it could be expedited if Trump pressures lawmakers to quickly fill seats. You think that will be expedited? I definitely believe that will be. He would make his decision for a replacement this week as he looks to make an imprint on the central bank. No decision should be deemed final until Trump makes that decision. So this temporary Fed chair, right, to fill this government seat, what are we seeing in the markets? Why are we seeing the dollar drop choppy as trading as Trump denies the plan to fire Jerome Powell, right? We've seen the dollar go skyrocketing in flight to crashing and burning to now floating around, that 98 realm. So actually, let's look at it. Let's not even just say, let's look at where the dollar is. It's at 98.2, down 0.5% today, right? That's a big drastic move for the dollar in all accounts, but still floating at that 98 realm, right? So we saw the dollar creep up over that 100 mark a couple days ago, and then now we are seeing it go down oh so slightly. So with this being the case, we're going to potentially see this now start to take some effect. The moves that Trump, Powell, all of these guys are making, Trump's advisors urging to pick ahead of Jerome Powell's succession decision. The move would allow Trump to avoid rushing a permanent nomination to preserve flexibility, right? This is what they all want. They all want the flexibility to pick to whoever is going to be there as the next advisor, the next backup, the next successor to Jerome Powell, to Jay Powell, right? The short-term governor is most likely someone who's already in the government, of course, right? But this opens the door for the shape of the central bank's future. I think this is the biggest thing right here is that all of it, this could shape the central bank. And the reality is these central bank officials, they're not elected by the US, right? They're not, it's not democratic by any means. They're nominated by Trump, and we need to basically keep them all in. We have no choice, even though their decisions can cause inflation for all of us. And at the end of the day, we're just sitting here playing with ourselves, just waiting, just saying, hey, you know what? We're going to deal with this inflation one way or the other. There is no way, shape, or form, no ways around it. We will deal with these decisions, and whoever Donald Trump puts into office, well, that's how it's going to be for us, right? So it's interesting when we see these decisions and we're seeing this play out in real time, just how quickly things will shift, right? Because, all right, not too long ago, we didn't cut interest rates, but now we're seeing a 93% chance, literally over 90% chance that we're going to cut interest rates in September. Why do you think that is? Well, Trump's going to put somebody in there that's going to pressure Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. Jerome Powell realizes, hey, you know what? At this point, I've been calling too slow, all of these different factors. In 40 days, is Jerome Powell going to cut interest rates? It looks like 93% chance. 42 days, 41 days, 20 hours. I mean, 93.2% chance to cut interest rates. Since I've been covering all this, we've never seen that even remotely close to this high. We've never seen it over 50%. And so let's see. Trump advisors are pushing for this temporary. Why does it matter, right? And installing a temporary governor gives flexibility before searching for a permanent chair in 26. Any new governor or eventual chair likely supports Trump's push for lower interest rates. So it does give that policy influence, like I was talking about. Biden appointees maintain a majority, potentially limiting major shifts. And nomination decisions could affect rate expectations if seen as politically driven, right? So there's been speculation about the next Fed chair, and we see the speculation and the lower drift of the Dixie, as I was showing you guys earlier in here, right? We're seeing it float around 98.5, which is something that we don't really want, right? We want to keep this thing closer to that 100 mark as much as possible. But it's taking some time to get there, right? The dollar extends losses on Wednesday with all eyes on the Fed chair nominee. Trump is expected to nominate a loyalist seeking higher support for his lower rate agenda. Soft U.S. data has brought stagflation concerns back to the table, which, if you guys have been watching this channel, you know that I'm very cautious with all of this stagflation costs as I think that, the inflationary concerns that we have had for years on end, they're not away. We're not out of the muds with inflation yet. We're still looking at this thing, and we're still seeing the dollar choppy trading as Trump denies that he's going to fire Powell. We still see all these things. So even though the market was up a little bit today, we're looking for the potential of, hey, where is Trump going to put, or who is Trump going to put into this seat here to then pressure Jay Powell and folks to then, really start to lower these interest rates and see them come on down. I mean, like I said, we're seeing a 93% chance that this is going to happen, but we haven't seen any push come to shove. This is all speculation on this point. But he's weighing whether to fill the seat with a short-term pick or somebody he would likely elevate to Fed chair. That is extremely important. We'll decide on one for permanence or a 4-month period, the term, the term about a number of months, right? So it's interesting. He's already putting it out there. Hey, I will promote you if you basically make me happy, right? You scratch my back, I will scratch yours. Trump's actually like coming out and saying all this, right? Great negotiation tactic, but when this guy has all the power, he could basically dictate the Fed policies, even though the Fed is supposed to be politically agnostic. So I think it's interesting that the interest rates cuts are going to send the markets absolutely ripping and exploding. I think once the M2 supply starts to increase, all that money gets dumped into markets. We've seen it. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it, right? And Trump realizes that the markets are the way that people look at how successful the economy is being. So adding these factors together, the potential of this being, hey, you know what? This is a positive. We're going to see this, as the market ripping. Well, there it seems to be the money printing there'll be no end in sight. That's going to take everything off. We got All-Nighter Hider in the chat, the GOAT, saying smoke the like Cheech and Chong. Don't forget to be hitting that subscribe button and join him in the chat. I appreciate you. I was on the Robert Breedlove podcast. If you guys have missed it or haven't checked it out yet, I encourage you guys all to do that. And smoke that like, hit that subscribe button with the bell notification so you guys know when I'm going live. I'm going to be detailing all of this very, very closely here. So make sure you guys are joining in on every live stream, and I'll catch you guys all at the next one.